Good to have you join us on NTA. The program is nationwide. My name is Bintu Aliyu Sumono. Now, the rise in water level at tributaries of River Benue has continued to cause a threat in most flood-prone areas in Adamawa State. Simon Asha, who monitored the situation in some communities in the state, reports that despite signs of potential flood occasioned by water level, residents of those areas have continued to exhibit a nonchalant disposition towards the impending danger.
Frequent rainfalls have continued to be witnessed in most riverine communities in Adamawa State, an indication that flood may occur in no distant time in the state. This is the situation in many flood-prone areas visited in different communities across the state, with increase in the water level gradually finding its way to houses and business premises of the people. However, despite signs and several warnings by authority concerned, the residents of these areas seem not to be worried about any impending flood.
It can't be possible to leave this place because we are using this place and benefit ourselves and some people here. This is our best place. So we have no any other places to stay except here.
Head of Operations, National Emergency Management Agency, Yola Operations Office, Abani Imam Garki, says already safer grounds for temporary shelter in case of any potential flood has been identified so as to mitigate the impact in case of any eventuality.
We did an analysis on the implications in the various sectors of the economy, and we have made recommendations, and our expectations is for the appropriate authority, including the state government, to take these measures.
In Yola, Simon Asha, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigerians are assured of intensified efforts and intervention to curtail a likely reoccurrence of the 2012 devastating flood. This was part of the mission of discussants on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live. Talatu Ezerike reports.
Some cities in the country recorded high amounts of rainfall in the last 24 hours, with Lokoja recording as high as about 73.8 millimeters. This situation places Lokoja at high risk of flooding.
Information, they say, is power, and trust the conventional media for timely and accurate reportage. From the electronics to the print, the trending story is that of flooding, dominating major discourse.
Houses are gone, people are gone, all because of flooding.
What's the work of the town planners? Why can't them now remedy the situation on time?
There are apprehensions, especially with reports of increase in the volume of water in rivers and dams, spelling more doom for coastal line areas. Indicators are pointing to another disaster, likened to the scale of the massive flooding of 2012 if water is released from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon. Interestingly, the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA has declared national disaster in 4 states and placed 8 other frontline states under strict monitoring, as well as beefed up interventions for any eventuality.
The communities were identified, personnel of various skills were deployed there, such as rescue relief personnel, and the President made it very, very clear to us. If we can stop losing a single life, we must do all we can to stop it. The political will is there, and then we are moving.
We embark on serious sensitization to our locals. Minister of Agric do key in. Look for better, improved agric seeds to go to the farm.
But can some good be derived from flooding?
The water is brackish, is brown, is full of sedimentation and fine silt. Literally, this is full fertilizer flowing. Fantastic for agriculture.
Not only should Nigeria have some national vulnerability mapping system, which is the next level that NEMA should go to. The local authorities can take and say, you cannot site that building there.
Well, the general advice is for a rethink over some man-made actions that give rise to flooding and even climate change for healthy environment. Talati Ezerike, NTA News.
Thank you, Detalato. Now, imbibing environment-friendly habits is key to tackling the current flooding menace. This is contained in a communique at the end of a two-day workshop on ways to evolve a national framework for flood emergency response and management in the country. Elizabeth Outoma reports that it is at the instance of Edo State government and the ECOWAS Early Warning Mechanism Center.
The workshop, in response to predictions by the Nigerian Meteorological and National Hydrological Agencies, also states that it is imperative to put robust plans in place to mitigate the effect of natural disasters in the country. The gathering recalls the flood disaster of 2012, which affected 7,705,398 persons, 2,157,149 displaced, and 363 people dead, highlighting that in Edo State alone, about 35 communities have been sacked by flood occasioned by persistent rainfall and overflow of riverbanks in the last few weeks. Community heads, the communique states, have a role to play in educating the people on the need to keep the environment clean.
Each local government should have a contingency plan in place, and we are now going to develop a state contingency plan.
We expect all our local government chairmen to come up with their own proposals.
A roadwork to sensitize the people on the dangers associated with the indiscriminate dumping of waste rounded off the workshop. In Benin, Elizabeth Owotwoma, NTA News.
Still talking flood, more than 7,000 persons in Niger State have been displaced by flood in the last 3 months. To cushion the effects of the flood, the state government has released about 90 million naira for the purchase of relief materials for the victims. Mary Nobarji reports.
Flood in Niger State has continued to ravage more farmlands, public and private buildings, while the death toll has risen to 41. 16 local government areas are the worst hit among the 22 affected, with the number of displaced persons put at about 7,000. 1,000 of these are being camped by the state government in Zungeru and Kakakiri, while 6,000 victims are taken aboard with relatives in safer communities.
The flood that's flooding our village, so all our farm, our houses and our other structure, the water has already engulfed all of them.
We never seen something happen like this.
With the state recording more damages, the state government has moved in to cushion the effect by releasing about 90 million naira for the purchase of assorted grains, comprising 1,000 bags of rice, maize, sorghum, and gari each, as well as palm oil and vegetable oil. Investigation, however, reveals that flood situation in Niger State has been aggravated by the release of water from the surrounding hydroelectric dams in the state, coupled with illegal structures built on waterways.
Some of those places are their ancestral homes, but we have to continue to communicate to them the dangers. We have to request for support from the federal government. That is exactly what we're doing.
Niger State government says it has expended about 900 million naira on disaster management in the last 3 years. Mary Nobarji, NTA News.
Now away from flooding issues, the federal government has received the 2018 United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO Award for Literacy and Skills Acquisition for Nigerian prison inmates. This is part of the positive results of the prisons reforms embarked upon by the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration. Murjadatu Adam Said reports.
In civilized societies, what inmates are made to lose is their freedom only. They have access to other amenities available to others outside prisons. Since inception, the present administration has remained committed to implementing prisons reform policies in the areas of welfare, rehabilitation, and protection of the rights and improving the plight of prison inmates. Minister of Interior, Abdulrahman Bello Dambazo, while receiving the 2018 UNESCO Award on behalf of the federal government, said already more funds have been approved to improve the condition of prisons and inmates in line with United Nations standards.
Our prisons are overcrowded, but prisons reforms is not just about the congestion of the prison. It is part of it. It is also about treatment, rehabilitation, and reformation of the prisoners. It is about the welfare of the prisoners and the staff. It is about the protection of the rights and privileges of the prisoners and the staff.
UNESCO representative believe that the award to Nigerian prison service is well deserved. The era of prison inmates coming out of prisons is over under the present administration. Former South African President Nelson Mandela of blessed memory once said, "The strength of a nation is being measured by the way it takes care of its prisons or prison inmates." So, if your country is ready for development, the welfare of prison inmates must be taken into consideration. And from the look of things, the present administration is ready for development. In Abuja, Marjana to Adam Said, NT News.
Meanwhile, efforts will be intensified to decongest the prisons across Ogun State. The new Chief Judge, Mosumola Dipeolu, stated this shortly after she was sworn in by the State Governor, Ibikunle Amosun, prior to the commencement of the legal year in Abeokuta. Lekon Abondi reports.
Ibikunle Amosun urged the new Chief Judge to take up challenges in the system and move the judiciary to greater heights.
When you are given responsibilities like this, it is an opportunity for you to serve. Yes, we are happy that you are doing something now, but it comes with a lot of responsibility.
Justice Dipeolu said she was ready to tackle head-on the critical challenges confronting judicial system in the state. Noted among various challenges the issue of prison congestion and condition of service in the judiciary.
Now, if we take the court to the prison, the issue of no vehicle will not be there, and the magistrates will be able to perform their duties. Even high courts can sit at the prisons. We are now trying to make provisions for places either in the prisons or very close to the prisons.
She later led the bar and bench to a special church service while special prayers were held at the Central Mosque to start off the 2018-2019 legal year. The state governor, Ibikunle Amosun, and other top functionaries of government were also in attendance. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
Let's now join Elizabeth in Lagos for more stories on Nationwide. Over to you, Elizabeth.
Hello, Bintu. It's nice to see you and welcome to Lagos. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police has again assured expatriates, especially those resident in the state, of their safety. The police commissioner gave the assurance when he received the Japanese ambassador to Nigeria at the command's headquarters in Ikeja. Doing Dia reports.
The visit by the Japanese ambassador to Nigeria to the Commissioner of Police, Imoime Edgar, was to thank the security agency for the unalloyed support in the areas of security to the Japanese citizens in the states. The Nigeria-Japan relations, which has fostered business and investment opportunities for the two countries, the Japanese ambassador, Yutaka Kikuta, says was a result of the peaceful atmosphere provided by the federal government of Nigeria and its security agencies. Yutaka Kikuta assures Nigeria of his country's support in areas of technological development.
Appreciate Commissioner's commitment to give the most security to those Japanese business and Japanese residents here. So it will be a great impetus for the future even closer relationship between the both countries.
Lagos State Commissioner of Police Imoime Edgar said the command will not relent in its responsibility of ensuring the safety of both Nigeria and Japanese citizens in Lagos State.
Your nationals are safe,
Please tell them that they should enjoy Lagos nightlife. They should enjoy some of our fun spots at their leisure time. Security has been provided for that, especially now that the Lagos State International Trade Fair is coming up.
Encourage foreign nationals to do their business and socialize, but always work within the ambit of the law in Lagos. Doing Dia NT News.
Sexual violence is reportedly going up in Lagos State. The Domestic and Sexual Violence Team of the government of the Lagos State says 1,701 cases of domestic violence were reported between May 2017 and March 2018. Hingino John Adams reports on a symposium convened to address the problem.
I experienced a series of abuse from my uncles as a child and my neighbor. So the effect did not leave me on time. In fact, it was later when I discovered that I had more issues, and I traced it back to the experience I had. I had learning difficulties, had low self-esteem, and I traced it back to the back-to-back abuse I had as a child sexually.
Kikelomowolesho's case is just one out of many. The number of cases of domestic and sexual violence in Lagos has increased, and about 5 cases recorded daily, going by the report of the Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team.
What the justice sector of Lagos State government is doing is saying no to violence, no to sexual violence, no to domestic violence.
It's important that we realize the role the family has to play in, 1, preventing this from happening in the first place, and 2, when it does happen, how do you respond?
This symposium is meant to educate the general public on the effect, one of which is silence, that affects the victim's well-being irrespective of gender.
The home is the first schooling that the child is exposed to. And a child learns violence, he engages in violence when he grows up. A child learns love, he learns to give love.
Stakeholders say the theme for the symposium, securing the home against violence, everyone's responsibility, is apt because the fight against domestic and sexual violence must begin from the home and must involve everyone. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Time now to join Nuru in our Sokoto Network Center for stories making the rounds in that region. Hello, Nuru.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome to Sokoto. The Sokoto State Police Command has banned the use of abusive language by political parties during election campaigns. Commissioner of Police Murtala Osman Mani disclosed this during a crucial security meeting with stakeholders and political parties in Sokoto. Muhammad Nasir completes the report.
The meeting was attended by 63 registered political parties, representatives of Independent National Electoral Commission, National Orientation Agency, and relevant stakeholders. It deliberated on current political atmosphere in Sokoto State. State Commissioner of Police Murtala Osman Mani said political parties should engage in explaining their manifestos to electorates rather than hitting the polity with slogans and abusive languages. He said it is mandatory for all political parties to work in accordance with the rules and regulations governing the elections. The Commissioner cautioned against use of weapons or pasting posters on unauthorized places during campaigns, as such attitude will not be tolerated by the police.
It is expedient for any political party to formally inform the security agencies of any meeting, rally, or procession for enhanced security, and at the same time prepare to contain any untoward. This is for the joint interest of the public and safety of the party members as well.
State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Independent National Electoral Commission Abubakar Sadiq Musa said INEC has put in place the necessary mechanisms to ensure free, fair, and credible elections. State Director, National Orientation Agency Abubakar Madadan Chadi reminded political parties that ensuring election devoid of any violence is a collective responsibility. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
Independent National Electoral Commission INEC says it has banned the use of phone cameras in the cubicle during voting process to discourage ban of voters by politicians. INEC National Commissioner in charge of Edo, Rivers, and Bayelsa States, who is also chairperson Legal Services Complaints and Clearance Committee, Mrs. May Abamuchembu, stated this when she visited the INEC office in Sokoto. Aminu Bello Kawaji reports.
Ahead of the 2019 general election in Nigeria, the Independent National Electoral Commission has been taking measures to ensure free, fair and credible elections. The recent was the banning of use of phone cameras in the cubicle while printing ballot sheets. INEC says the ban is with a view to discouraging and checkmating activities of some politicians who engage in buying votes or PVCs from electorates.
What has happened, I was part of the team that went to Ekiti for the elections, and people tend to bring their telephones, smartphones, into the cubicle, and after voting, they take a photograph of the party they have voted for, and of course they show it to those who are the buyers. And so we have decided that we're going to change the position of the cubicles and ban phones from the cubicles.
The National Commissioner said INEC has concluded all arrangements and only waiting for the budget to round off training and is fully prepared for the elections. She added that INEC welcomes reports on any misconduct that hinders successful conduct of the 2019 general election for necessary action. In Sokoto, Aminu Bello Kaoji, NTA News.
More news to come after this commercial break. Don't go away.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
For years, the NTA has been promoting science, technology, arts and crafts under the tagged name National Children's Expo. We are set with another edition as we gather children around Nigeria, junior category ages 6 to 12 and senior category ages 13 to 18. The theme for Expo 2018, achieving self-sufficiency in agriculture, meeting the challenges of security and exposition of alternative energy as pathways to national development. Date, October 21st to 25th, 2018. Venue, NTA Headquarters Arena, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. We are set to celebrate the best of innovation across the country. For more information, please call the following numbers. NTA ETV, promoting learning.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Zuma Film Festival 2018 Abuja. Theme: Archiving for Creativity. Date: December 1st to 7th, 2018. Featuring film screenings, masterclasses, special tributes, NFC Annual Film Lecture, NFC Annual Essay Competition Awards, special national and state days, Lifetime Achievement Awards, and Zuma Film Festival 2018 Awards. Submission of entries for non-competition, competition and screening is ongoing and closes September 30th, 2018. All entries should be forwarded to the Festival Director, Zuma Film Festival Nigerian Film Corporation, headquarters in Jos, and or its zonal offices in Abia, Lagos, Kano, Asaba, Yola, and Abuja, or through the Film Freeway online platform, www.filmfreeway.com. For further inquiries, call 0033146842, 08052728321, or 08063390420, or visit the website www.zumafilmfest.gov.ng. Zuma Film Festival 2018, December 1st to 7th, Abuja, Nigerian's foremost film festival.
I moved into this place in 2001, and as at that time, Precious was in secondary school. She became a very close family friend. So one day I came back from work to hear that she had an accident, that the machine cut off her hand.
When that happened, it was really painful. They have to rush me down to the hospital.
Glad that you're still there on NTA. Now, as part of efforts to ensure lasting peace in Guinea-Bissau and facilitate the peaceful conduct of parliamentary elections in November, ECOWAS Chairman President Muhammadu Buhari has dispatched a ministerial delegation to the country to meet with all political actors. The team, led by Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama, comprised of ECOWAS President Jean-Claude and other top officials, met with the President of Guinea-Bissau, Mario Vaz, the Prime Minister and ECOWAS mediator for Guinea-Bissau, among others. During the meeting, issues regarding the challenges of funding and logistics compliance with Peace and Stability Pact, as well as reforms and capacity building and the electoral body, were raised. Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama also told members of the P5, comprising of the EU, AU, UNDP, that President Muhammadu Buhari, as ECOWAS chairman, is committed to ensuring the country's stability of the continued stability of Guinea-Bissau. President of Guinea-Bissau, Mario Vaz, conveyed his country's appreciation to Nigeria for the donation of 150 electoral kits that are urgently needed for voter registration and conduct of the election. Now, in a bid to complement government's efforts of entrenching the desired democratic culture for Nigeria, the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, says it is set to conduct free, fair and credible primary elections within the principles of the party's platform. Shukulonson Mwabeze reports that these formed part of the resolutions reached at the end of the party's National Working Committee meeting in Abuja.
Politics and issues concerning elections have lately dominated public discourse in the country, especially against the backdrop of the forthcoming 2019 general elections. Political parties in their preparations towards the general elections have, in their individual conduct of primaries, pursued the fundamentals of internal democracy with vigor. It is in this regard that the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, is imbibing in its members set principles of togetherness to present candidates for the elections that will enjoy the support of all card-carrying members of the party for success at the general elections.
APGA has now got its presidential and vice presidential aspirants. So it's no longer speculation. Our presidential candidate will be unveiled as soon as our national convention is held.
The All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, also enjoined the electorates to be law-abiding. In Abuja, Chukunonsonwa Bueze, NTN News.
Moving on now, over 782 persons, including those living with disabilities, have become beneficiaries of the rice and fish farming projects in Delta State. This is a fallout of the revamping of the agricultural sector in the state. Tessie Koka was among journalists who went on inspection of the facilities.
Governor Kowa, represented by his Chief Job Creation Officer, Professor Eric Cable, read out the successes recorded in the past 3 years of his administration in agriculture.
The rice that is going to come out from this whole enterprise is
high-quality rice. We would appeal to His Excellency that he will also help us promote the marketing of the rice.
The media men were taken to the 42 hectares rice farm in Sapele local government established this year, where harvesting and treasury were going simultaneously.
We have had cooperation from the trainees, and they have shown the zeal to cultivate and process rice.
Ugbokodo farm of 154 fish ponds, which is the largest cluster in that area, was also inspected. The last port of call was the Agricultural Development Program's fish pond in Igbuzo of 81 fish pond capacity to 27 yage produce in Asaba. Tessie Coca, NTA News.
Now from Delta, we move on to the northeast, where the Adamawa State chapter of the Tabital Pulako John de Jam Foundation has reiterated committed towards peace-building processes in the country, especially with the lingering farmers-herders clashes. Rayanu Bala reports that the foundation, during a visit on Governor Muhammad Umar Jibrilla, also registered its support to the second-term bid of President Muhammad Buhari.
Tabital Pulaku John de Jam Foundation is a group of Fulani people out to promote peace and unity in the society, especially with the lingering crisis between farmers and herders. Chairman of the foundation in Adamawa State, Abdu Ali, said, Fulanis are peace-loving people and efforts are being made to ensure a sustainable peace in the country, irrespective of ethnic or religious affiliations. Members of Tabital Pulaku John de Jam said, apart from initiating peace processes, the foundation is also mobilizing support for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari and Governor Muhammad Umar Jibrilla because of the achievements recorded in their administrations.
We support and we call all Fulanis and all languages in this country to vote President Muhammadu Buhari, Adamawa State Muhammadu Jibrilla Bindo, and all candidates of APC.
Governor Muhammad Umar Jibrilla tasked the foundation to explore all avenues at ensuring peace and stability in the state through consultations and harmonious living.
We all know when you are talking of security, Adamawa State is one of the frontline states. And we have very discussions with the leadership and the members. There are over thousands of them.
Similarly, over 30,000 women trained by the state government on various skills also registered their support to President Muhammadu Buhari and all APC candidates in the forthcoming 2019 elections. In Yola, Rayanu Bala, NTA News.
Now, the West African Kadriya movement, led by Sheikh Karibullah Nasru Kabara, rose from its meeting in Dutse, Jigawa State, charging its members to take the lead in promoting peaceful coexistence, especially as Nigeria faces another round of elections. Awal Muhammad Kazauri reports that the group established a Center for Islamic Scholarship in the state.
It was an annual gathering of all members of Kadriya movement led by Sheikh Karibullah Nasir Kabara, who discussed Islamic propagation, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. As part of their engagement in Jigawa State, the group laid a foundation to establish an Islamic center for research and other intellectual activities for the training of Muslims. Both the leader of the movement and deputy governor of Jigawa State harp on the need for scholars to preach peace.
It's going to be a center not just for Islamic education, but for Western education as well, and for the upliftment of peaceful coexistence of not just Muslims from any sect, but Muslims and any other adherent of any religion in the country. So this must be encouraged against the backdrop of some of recent events happening.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank all brothers who will be with us here in this foundation, in the Islamic school and Jumu'at Mosque.
While in Dutse, the Islamic scholars visited Governor Muhammad Badaru Abubakar and the Emir of Dutse, Dr. Nuhu Sanusi, to seek for their blessings. In Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazauri, NTA News.
Moving on now, the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, says the commission will soon harmonize captured biometric information of Nigerians in both public and private sectors. NIMC Director General Aliyu Aziz Abubakar said this on NTA's breakfast program, Good Morning Nigeria. Garba Muhammad Nata'ala reports.
The federal government of Nigeria approved that all agencies should work together to create that central bank database. And that is what is unique with NIMC. And that uniqueness will be the national identification number, not the card itself.
That is the Director General, NIMC, speaking on the planned initiative to harmonize all captured information by agencies. He said so far the Commission has introduced unique identification number to overcome challenges of identity harmonization.
It's going to be achieved by capturing the unique features of the person, which is the biometrics, in terms of the face, the picture of the face, then the fingerprints of an individual. That will make the individual unique.
Other guests on the program applauded the initiative, saying it has many spillover advantage, specifically reduction of operation cost of issuance of new cards, delays, and issues of duplication.
We've been working with NIMC, and we hope to achieve the objective set by the federal government to ensure that we interface.
However, they expressed concern about activities of cyber criminalities and advised the Commission to ensure that cybersecurity mechanisms are put in place to secure the national database.
What people need much more is data. If that data is not protected, that means I can harvest your data to intrude into a system.
The critical thing you need now is to be identified as a true Nigerian. So you need that number. So just register and get your number.
The guests are optimistic that just like the financial institutions, other establishments can verify the national identity of people with ease. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Nata'ala, NTA News.
Thank you, Nata'ala. Now, Anambra State government set to tackle this year's impending floods. Details of this and other stories with Chinyere in our Enugu Network Center. Over to you, Chinyere.
Hello, Bintu, and welcome to Enugu. Anambra State government has reaffirmed its preparedness to tackling this year's impending floods. Governor Willie Obiano announced this during a meeting with the State Emergency Management Agency and support agencies where they dwelt on ways to mitigate the impending flood. Ndem Kalu has details.
Governor Willie Obiano said the meeting became imperative with the information indicating that Anambra State is one of the first states to declare state of emergency on flood. Hence, the need to reappraise the initial strategy by the state government to check the flooding. He noted that the state commenced preparations for the disaster about 5 months ago, as camps have been established across the affected local government areas.
Because of the speed of the flood, we have to call this meeting again to reappraise and see what we can fine-tune to be able to bring out a lot more people to those holding centers.
Deputy Governor of the state admitted that the support agencies are ready for the task but awaiting funds to enable them commence work. The Executive Secretary, State Emergency Management Agency, described the flood as a big threat with the Nigerian Inland Water Authority, confirming that the volume of River Niger has risen above 11 meters, urging those in flood-prone areas to relocate.
We have activated the 9 camps in the 9 shelters in the Anambra local government. As we speak, our men are on their way, taking materials to Anambra East.
Commissioner for Health, Dr. Josephat Akabike, said the ministry has put measures in place at the holding centers with doctors designated emergencies that may arise. The meeting was attended by commissioners of relevant ministries, support agencies, and service commanders in the state. In Oka, Ndem Kalo, NTA News.
Also from Anambra, the state government has taken measures towards ensuring quality healthcare delivery for people and residents of the state. This followed the official launch of health insurance scheme by the state governor, Willie Obiano. Uchenna Nwekoye reports that the event took place at Oka.
Governor Willie Obiano said his government will pay 10% counterpart funding to accommodate all civil servants and their families, adding that his government has paid for policies covering 10,000 people from across the state.
What this means is that if you register for the scheme with 1,000 naira and continue to pay your 1,000 naira every month, you will get a top quality medical attention for whatever disease or ailments you might have for a whole year.
The Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme, Professor Usman Yusuf, said Anambra State understands the importance of good health as the scheme will drastically reduce the financial burden on the people.
Anambra State Health Insurance Scheme is starting on a very good footing. What is the footing? You have a governor who is very supportive.
Commissioner for Health, Dr. Josephat Akabike, said the scheme was to seek solution to the challenge of out-of-pocket expenditure for health as it was modeled after understanding the different systems of advanced societies. The Executive Secretary, Anambra State Health Insurance Agency, Dr. Simeon Oyemechi, said the agency has set up a 24-hour call center for easy access to the scheme. High point was the unveiling of the scheme by the governor, after which he was registered. In Oka, Ndemkalo, NTA News.
The General Officer commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, Enugu, Major General Emmanuel Kabuk, has challenged officers and men of the Nigerian Army to be combat ready at all times in the face of emerging security challenges rocking the country. The GOC was speaking at the opening of a training organized for 82 Division Operations Planning Cadre in Enugu. Susan Eze reports.
Declaring the training open, the General Officer commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Emmanuel Kabuk, said the workshop has become imperative to equip the officers with more knowledge for effective and efficient operations. The GOC urged them to make good use of the opportunity for better planning and promised to always give his support and respond to every security call.
It's expected to help make better officers for 82 Division and for the Nigerian Army at large.
In a paper titled Contemporary Security Challenges in Nigeria, Southeast in Perspective, the Commissioner of Police, Enugu State Command, Damalam Mohammed, identified armed robbery, cultism, agitations, herdsmen and farmers' clashes as the major security challenges in the Southeast. The Commissioner emphasized that the earlier they are tackled, the better for the country. Also in another paper, Brigadier General Abdul Ibrahim advised officers to monitor events across the country to be well informed. Some participants described it as timely.
This has greatly enhanced our capacity and knowledge in the areas of contemporary security challenges across the country.
Other sister security agencies were also part of the training. An award was later presented to the Commissioner of Police, Enugu State Command, Damalam Mohammed, for his outstanding presentation. About 55 participants drawn from various commands under 82 Division of the Nigerian Army attended the workshop. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And that's it from Enugu. Nationwide continues with Bintu in Abuja after this timeout.
This is my first experience riding this train. I've heard about it so much all around the city.
Actually, I'm surprised that such a development is coming to us.
I was impressed, so neat, and actually you can compare with any type of train, all over the world.
I could not imagine that I'll be going from Edo State to the airport by train.
And the environment is so clean, and the ACs are cool.
I want to commend federal government for the initiative to provide these train services.
And I wish to laud the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari in seeing that this project is a reality.
Please get ready to alight on the right side of the train. Thank you.
Agenda 2030. As a successor framework for the Millennium Development Goals, the global community rolled out a bigger, deeper, and more encompassing framework called the Sustainable Development Goals, designed to transform our world, lift the poor out of poverty, as well as ensure inclusive and healthy society. On Agenda 2030, we take you on a media trip to the global destination of the future we want. With everyone on board, we focus on the people and their struggle, the civil society and their agitations, the government and her development effort, the global development agenda, its 17 goals and 169 targets. We bring you all the deliberations, insightful conversations, and high-level partnerships on the road to global destination. Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
Yeah, Modena. Do you have amala? Yes. And abula? Yes, sir. Black or white? Yamala. Have I ever eaten white amala here before? Yes, sir. Give me amala and abula. Do you have dodo? Dodo 2 grams. Good. Let me have some dodo. I want you to put the meat in a bowl. Shaki, shuku, abodi. I like my edo to be very tender. You have stockfish? Yes, sir. Good. Let's have some stockfish. And the catfish, my favorite. Don't mind them. You have eggs. I would like 6 boiled eggs. No eggs. Okay, the catfish will do. And then rice. Rice and then some salad. Look. Do you have a kuru?
Thank you for staying tuned on Nationwide. Now, the Nigerian Army has commenced development of a brigade in Damaturu, Yobe State, to further strengthen its operations in the zone. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, performed the groundbreaking ceremony in Damaturu.
Yobe State in northeast Nigeria has suffered attacks from the Boko Haram terrorist group. With the state bordering Niger, the area is also prone to transborder crime, proliferation of small and light weapons.
You'll agree with me that it's time such strategic military location is established in this part of the country, especially in view of our counterinsurgency operations. Let me acknowledge the tremendous contribution of the Yobe State government.
The project will provide barracks that will support the activities of 2 military battalions and Sector 2 Operation Lafia Dole operating in Yobe State. This will further secure the state and the region through enhanced rapid response to security threats. The land for the project and this Level 2 military hospital was donated by Yobe State government.
Now, in a bid to harmonize and increase productivity in the workplace, a 2-day training workshop on how to enhance the skill of non-academic staff union of educational and associated institutions has been organized in Abuja. Hadiza Godwin Ebune has more.
Presenting a paper titled Effective Union Management Relationship, Director General, National Productivity Center, Dr. Kashim Akor says the purpose of collective bargaining is to negotiate an agreement which will meet the needs of the organization to remain competitive and profitable, as well as being responsive to individual interests, situation, and concerns of employees.
For you to promote industrial peace and harmony, the union members, just like the management, must be knowledgeable, must know the way and means of getting results, of getting what they want.
While declaring the training workshop open, Acting Director General, Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, Dr. Bakut Toa Bakut said a very important element of any administration is the resolution of industrial conflicts.
If you don't train your staff or individuals, they would really not have the capacity to perform their work.
We also organize this workshop to train our officers to know the importance of being a leader, not to fight your management, but to go into, to table with them.
Members of the union said the training is apt as it has enhanced their knowledge on obligation of union leaders and members' role in nation building.
Unionism is not about we no go agree again, it's about dialogue, that we come to a round table to talk.
The training will help you a lot, because if you don't have knowledge of leadership, you can't be a leader and you cannot be a union leader.
NASU say productivity is enhanced when union and management conflicts are mutually resolved, creating confidence in employees, thereby allowing the workforce to put in more efforts towards the attainment of organizational goals. Hadiza Godwin-Ebuni, NTA News.
Now, North Korea agrees to shut missile sites. Details of this and more with Obayeli Ogoke on News Across the Globe.
We begin with Togo's politics. Togo has announced that its legislative and local elections will hold on December 16th and 20th, as well as referendum on constitutional reforms. Meanwhile, mass anti-government rallies have repeatedly been held across the country, with protesters demanding an end to the 50-year rule by the Nasimbe family and constitutional reform, including a 2-term limit for president. The nationwide demonstrations have led to clashes between security forces and protesters, which have turned deadly. And turning now to Korean summit, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has agreed to shut down one of the country's main missile testing and launch sites. After meeting in Pyongyang, the two leaders agreed on a way to achieve denuclearization. The agreement was described by Mr. Kim as a leap forward towards military peace on the peninsula. In Pakistan, Islamabad's High Court has ordered the release of an ex-Prime Minister, Nawaz Sharif, 2 months after he began a 10-year jail sentence over corruption. The court suspended the sentences of Mr. Sharif, his daughter and son-in-law, Safdar Awan, Wednesday after their appeal. The ruling came after Mr. Sharif's wife, Kulsum Nawaz, died from cancer in London. They were briefly allowed out of prison to attend her funeral. That's it from this end. To stay tuned for the rest of the news, I'm Obiageli Ugoke.
Thank you, Obiageli, for the foreign news. Moving on to sports now. Football administrators in Katsina for elective Congress as World Women's #3 and US Open champion records another victory at home. For more, it's over to Amanze Marcos on Sports Update.
Head coach of Nigeria's under